What would you do if love slipped into your life like a quiet melody in a symphony of noise, unbidden and unforeseen, yet so perfectly timed that it reshaped everything you thought you knew about yourself? Would you clasp it tightly, letting it guide you into unknown territories of the heart, or would you recoil, suspicious of its intentions, fearing it was too good to be true? For me, that dilemma wasn't a hypothetical musing. It was the very foundation upon which my world was rebuilt, a delicate balance between ecstasy and apprehension that defined my journey from solitude to shared bliss. This is my story, one that unfolds like the pages of a well-worn diary, filled with the ink of everyday moments that, in hindsight, were anything but ordinary. It's a testament to the power of vulnerability, the resilience of the human spirit, and the beautiful chaos that ensues when two souls collide in the most unexpected of places. My name is Alina. I am 30 years old today, reflecting on a chapter that began when I was 26, in the heart of a gritty industrial town in upstate New York. The winters here are brutal, with snow piling up like unspoken regrets, and the summers humid enough to make every breath feel labored. I work in a mid-sized manufacturing plant that produces automotive parts, nuts, bolts, washers and brackets that end up in cars driven by people who never think about the hands that shaped them. My role is as unassuming as the items I handle. I operate a sorting machine on the assembly line, feeding metal blanks into hoppers, monitoring for defects, and boxing the finished products for shipment. The shifts are long, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. most days, with overtime on Fridays when orders spike. The pay is steady, enough to cover my rent on a one-bedroom walk-up in a faded brick building downtown, utilities, groceries from the discount market, and the occasional indulgence like a new pair of work boots or a streaming subscription to escape into fictional worlds after dark. Before I immerse you fully in the twists and turns of this narrative, I want to take a brief pause to express my heartfelt thanks for being here with me. If tales like mine, of love blooming in the shadows of routine, of hearts finding each other amidst the grind of daily life, strike a chord within you, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me connect with more kindred spirits who might need this reminder that magic can hide in the mundane. Give this video a like if it moves you, share it with a friend who's navigating their own quiet search for connection, and drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced a love that arrived when you least expected it? Your thoughts and stories inspire me more than you know. They fuel the fire to keep creating and sharing. Thank you truly. Now let's rewind to the days when my life was a canvas of grey, waiting for a splash of colour I never saw coming. Growing up in this same town, my childhood was a patchwork of modest means and familial warmth. My parents were immigrants from Eastern Europe, Dad from Poland, Mom from Ukraine, who met in a refugee camp after World War II and built a new life in America. They settled here in the 1960s, drawn by factory jobs that promised stability. Dad worked the lines at a steel mill until his back gave out in his 50s, and Mom sewed garments in a textile plant, her fingers flying over machines with a precision that always amazed me. We lived in a cramped 2-story house on the east side, shared with my older brother Victor, who was my protector and confidant. Money was tight. Dinners were often potato soup or pierogi made from scratch, but love was abundant. Evenings were sacred. Dad reading the newspaper aloud in his thick accent, Mom humming folk songs as she mended clothes, Victor and I doing homework at the kitchen table under the glow of a single bulb. School was my sanctuary. I was the quiet student, always with my nose in a book, classics like Little Women or Anne of Green Gables that transporting me to worlds far from the factory smokestacks. Teachers praised my essays, but I never stood out socially. Friends were few. I preferred the company of fictional characters to the drama of teenage cliques. Victor, 5 years older, left for the army at 18, sending money home and letters full of adventures that made our small town feel even smaller. When I graduated high school, college wasn't an option. Funds were scarce, so I followed the family path into the workforce. At 18, I started at the plant as a temp boxing parts on the night shift. The work was monotonous, but it paid better than waitressing at the local diner. By 20, I was full-time on days, my life settling into a predictable groove. Work, home, repeat. Romantic entanglements were sparse. There was a high school crush on a boy named Tommy who kissed me once behind the gym but never called after. Then in my early 20s, a brief fling with a coworker named Greg, charming at first, but his wandering eye ended it after 6 months. Heartbroken, I swore off men. Focus on yourself, Mom advised, her own marriage a model of quiet endurance. Dad nodded. Love finds you when you're ready. I believed them, channeling energy into small joys. Weekend hikes in the nearby state park, baking bread from Mom's recipes, or losing myself in romance novels where heroes were faithful and endings happy. Loneliness crept in during quiet nights, but I pushed it down. Better safe than sorry, I'd tell my reflection, braiding my long chestnut hair before bed. The plant itself was a microcosm of the town, 200 employees, a mix of lifers like Rita, the gossipy veteran on my line who'd been there 25 years, and transients like young kids saving for college. The air was always thick with the scent of oil and metal, the noise a constant cacophony of clangs, whirs, and shouts. My station was midway down the line, where I'd scan barcodes, pack components into foam inserts, and seal cartons with tape guns that left blisters on my palms. Lunch was in the cafeteria, a vast room with linoleum floors and vending machines humming like distant beehives. I'd sit alone most days, sipping tea from a thermos, scrolling social media or reading. Colleagues formed groups, the smokers outside, the card players at tables, but I preferred solitude. Shy Clara, they'd call me affectionately. I didn't mind, it kept things simple. Then one foggy Monday in late autumn the first shift occurred. Our floor supervisor, Mr. Kowalski, a stern but fair man in his late 50s, called a huddle. Team, I'm moving up to corporate next month, been a ride. Whispers erupted who'd replace him. By week's end the new manager arrived, Ethan, 32, from a plant in Michigan. He introduced himself in the break room, tall with athletic build, sandy blonde hair and blue eyes that scanned the room with quiet confidence. His smile was disarming, voice steady. I'm Ethan, here to learn from you all. Let's make this place even better. He hit the ground running, touring lines, asking questions, even jumping in to fix a jammed conveyor. Hands on, he said, workers buzzed, he remembered names, brought bagels on Wednesdays. For me it started with a good morning, Clara, and a nod. Then, how's the line running? I'd answer briefly, but his interest drew me out. Any suggestions for efficiency? He'd ask. Rotate stations to avoid fatigue, I suggested once. He implemented it, crediting me in a meeting. Clara's idea, smart thinking. Conversations grew. During a slow shift he stopped by. Read any good books lately? Startled I'd mentioned reading in passing. Mystery thriller, I said, he grinned. Love those, keeps the mind sharp. Lunches shifted, he'd join my table occasionally. Mind company, talks deepened, childhood's him, farm kid me, city dreams deferred, hobbies him, running me, gardening, gossip stirred, Ethan's sweet on Clara. I dennied, but butterflies fluttered. One rainy day machine breakdown halted work. Ethan organized trivia. Clara category literature, I won with Shakespeare quotes. Impressive, he said, high five lingering. After no umbrella I waited under awning. Share mine, he offered, walking, shoulders brushing, thanks for playing along. Fun, I admitted, bus stop reached, see you tomorrow. Invites followed, coffee after shift, cafes to parks. You're easy to talk to, he said, romance sparked, challenges, gossip intensified. Using him for favors, hurt I confided. Ignore our business. Proposal, river picnic, ring sparkling. Marry me, yes. Married life, home or sanctuary, love my anchor. If moved, subscribe, like, share, comment.